said, why this place so dry? No love to find. You're the only one that ever acts kind. They all after me. What's happening? I wish that you could see what I see. Your boyfriend's a douche that thinks he's cool and doesn't deserve a girl like you.
What up? It's your boy Nagato Uzumaki with Ifer. What's up, Uzumaki gang? And today I'm gonna be doing what if Deku and Bakugo were the reincarnations of Sasori and Deidara. Yeah. So Bakugo's explosion, like his quirk is gonna be the same, except his personality is gonna be different. Instead of thinking he's better, he's gonna call his explosions art, and he's gonna to help control them better and in a different way. He's gonna kind of have the mouths on his hands and his chest like Deidara does, except that's gonna be part of his quirk. And he's gonna have like the clay pouches, and with Deku, his hair, we're gonna say his dad's hair is red, and also his quirk is called Puppet Master. So yeah, once they turn 4, I'm not really sure what I should make them. I don't know. Yeah. Well, they go to the Quirk. Deku goes to the Quirk doctor. The Quirk doctor still tries to steal his quirk for All For One, except he can't because it's not really even a quirk. It's just like whatever you call it, power, chakra. And so the Quirk doctor says, this young boy here has a very strong quirk called Puppet Master. He could make puppets, and the best puppets ever made. They could be used for either great hero work or they could destroy entire cities. It all depends on how he's raised. And then Inko, since she's not gonna be best mom in probably most of my what ifs involving Deku, decides this kid's a villain. Time to drop him off. So she does that. She does exactly that. She drops him off in the woods. Big, 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 big mistake, because he probably would have became a hero if you didn't do that. And Mitsuki, she was happy when she heard Bakugo's quirk was explosion, but when she heard how he could use it with like the clay and the mouths and on his hands and chest, she did the same. So they basically got dropped off at the same place. They look at each other like, oh, what are you doing here, dude? They told each other the same story. So they decided, well, might as well form a pact or something to stay alive. And so, they built like a little shelter, like a little kind of tent thing out of sticks and leaves and logs and all that. They go to sleep. And in the dream, they're both there because Sasori and Deidara both decided to connect their dreams since they used to be they were partners. And so once they get there, they kind of look at each other and then look forward, and they're kind of in the same type of forest, except it's different. Because there's like these two men, and it's Sasori and Deidara. And Deidara's like, no, you're wrong, Sasori. You're wrong. Art is an explosion. Art will never be eternal. Art is meant to go and leave. Like, basically the whole spiel about art is meant to, like, basically be there in an instant and then go. And Sasori's like, Deidara, I'm sorry, but you're wrong. Art is eternal. is everlasting. And then Bakugo is like, well, I agree with the blonde guy. Who are you guys, by the way, though? And Deku, in kind of same voice as Sasori, he's like, well, I agree with the redhead. You guys seem pretty cool. Then they both say their names, say how they are there, like they're their reincarnations, and yeah, they tell them that they're gonna train them on how to use their power better, and so they give them their Sasori is training Deku, and Deidara is training Bakugo, like in the mindscape, like so they wake up, they close their eyes again, like kind of like in the like the position Naruto goes into when he's trying to do Sage Mode, basically that to enter their mindscape, because that's what Sasori and Deidara told them to do. And so once they get there, they start training them. Like Deidara trains Bakugo, Sasori trains Deku, and Deku he starts making his puppets. Deidara, I'm gonna say Bakugo already had some clay with him because he just liked to make things out of clay. Basically the same thing as Deidara, and so they are training, like training. I'm gonna say that they are decided that they could run to school back and forth. And also they always had the kind of theme that Deidara and Sasori have. So so once they get to the beginning of the series, aka when Bakugo was still a fuckboy, they decide the teacher says something about them, Bakugo and Izuku applying for UA, and everyone's like, there's no way they're gonna get in. Their quirks are too villainous. And so Izuku pulls out a scroll and then summons a puppet, and it's gonna be kind of like the third Kazekage puppet, because Sasori gave him like the Sasori gave him all of his scrolls and puppets, and Deidara gave Bakugo the pouches of clay that he had. Don't know how, but they did. And so Izuku, he doesn't always wear his puppet like how Sasori does. He only wears it when he needs to, which is going to be in battle. So like he basically wears it before he gets to school and after he gets out of school. So he summons the third Kazekage puppet, and he's like, "Are you sure you really want a fate like this?" And they all just kind of like shut up quick. And you could already see Bakugo kind of in the back corner, kind of like just rambling to himself. They're gonna see what my art is. They're gonna see how good it is. And he's making like a what is it called? 3-0 with the gigantic kind of bomb thing that he dropped on the Sand Village but got stopped by Gaara. Yeah, point is that happens. That happens. And so right now, they're basically wearing the hoodie versions of the Akatsuki cloak. Like they had it custom made. And they also are both wearing like kind of black jeans and black shoes. You know? And so they both apply to UA. But they basically pass, but they get rejected because of their quirks. Just because I'm gonna have them either be vigilantes or villains. You guys are gonna decide. No, actually, I'm gonna decide. They're gonna be villains because I want them to. So they go back to their house, and Bakugo's still rambling, kind of like they basically have become Sasori and Deidara at this point, except they still are them. Like they still have their names. Actually, they changed their names. So Deku's is now Sasori Midoriya, and and now Bakugo's is now Deidara Akatsuki. Yes. And then so Bakugo, well, Deidara, aka Bakugo, starts rambling about, we must show the world what our art is, and they're gonna see what they missed out on. They missed out on our art. And Sasori's like, calm down, Deidara. Bakugo. How about this? And then he basically does the plan of the USJ, like the USJ attack, except it's just them and not the League of Villains this time. The League of Villains are going to do all that stuff in the second year. Yeah. So they do that. So they wait a month. Well, no, they wait 2 weeks. And then it's going to be time for the USJ. Because we're going to say the USJ happens 2 weeks after they enter UA. So they all get there, and the replacements for Bakugo and Izuku is going to be the basically just their kind of sisters that their parents had after they just left Bakugo and Sasori. Except this time, Izumi has green hair instead of because I don't want her to have red hair like Izuku. So Izumi and Katsumi are there instead, and they basically kind of have like the same, well, like the girl versions of their outfits, and so I'm gonna say Izumi also has like 0.1% of one for all full cowling, and so how are they gonna get there? How are they gonna get there? They're just gonna crash into the roof of the USJ. Yeah, that sounds nice. Right, no, we're gonna say that there's this back door to the USJ that they just leave unlocked because sometimes the teachers need to go out there to take a breather, and they don't have to unlock it because it takes a really long time. It has like 58 padlocks, so they just enter through the back, which is kind of in the foresty type zone. Like you kind of see it. It had a whole bunch of trees, and so Sasori and Deidara come out of it, and they're basically wearing their hoodies, and oh dang it, what was his name? Kirishima. He basically like, hey guys, look, they have real villains, and as I was like, step back. Kirishima was like, hey look, they have fake villains for us too, and as I was like, step back, students, those aren't fake villains, they're real. And so Aizawa goes down, and since their quirks aren't really quirks, he can't erase them, so he gets smacked. No, actually, League of Villains is gonna form, except it's gonna be slightly different. It's gonna be more like the Akatsuki. Yeah, it's gonna be more like the Akatsuki. So recheck on that. They hear of this thing called the new League of Akatsuki, and it's basically just all the reincarnations of the Akatsuki members. So they go to where the place is, and it's kind of in this rainy. It's kind of like in the same forest, except that part is way more rainy, like a lot. And so the ones that are already there in the Akatsuki is the reincarnations of the reincarnations that are there are Kakuzu, Hidan, Itachi, Kisame. What other Akatsuki members were there? I'm gonna say, dang it, I can't really remember. Oh, yeah, Pain and Conan. They're basically all already there. Sasori and Deidara are the only ones who are missing. So Pain basically asks for them for like proof, and so they show what they could do, and then they get accepted. And so I'm gonna say that they have a like all for one is still the leader, except he's kind of more of a Madara now. He's more Madara, but they still have a Koogiri just to get them in and out of places. Like he's not a member of the Akatsuki. He's just their travel port basically. So portal opens and it kind of stays open. Well, it kind of closes and then the mist is there. And so all the gangs step out. You know, like badasses. Kirishima is like, look, they even have fake villains too. I was always like, step back. Those aren't fake villains. They're real. He goes to Joan Down and he goes to like kick Kakuzu. Kakuzu grabs his fist and then does some hand signs and does Earth Grudge Spear, which is gonna be like he slams his hands on the ground and then earth spikes come up. And so Aizawa kind of gets like stabbed in the leg, you know, like both his legs, his arm, kind of like his lower part of his chest. No major organs were hit, but he's still gone out of the fight for sure. And then so they're also all basically people that got rejected from UA. Like they did want to be heroes, but now they don't. They want to be either villains or vigilantes. And they want to prove their supremacy over the heroes by proving that they can't beat them. And so, Pain comes out as last with the 6 paths of pain. And so, they basically all get teleported to a different area. And, so, Sasori and Deidara get teleported to the, like, Earth slide zone, which I'm pretty sure, who was there again? Like, I think it was Kaminari, Momo, and Jojuro. Yeah. And right now, Izuku's wearing the puppet that Sasori always wears. You know? Like, when you first see him, that's the puppet he's wearing. So, Kaminari tries to zap Sasori, except the electricity just goes on him and he does nothing. And then he brings out, like, his scorpion tail, and he stabs Kaminari in the leg, and he says, there's no cure for that. It's only a test, so it probably won't kill you, but it'll at least put you in the hospital for a week or more. And then Jojo tries to like amplify the sound. The only Deidara is flying up in the air, so it doesn't affect him and it doesn't affect Sasori. And by Deidara, I mean Bakugo. Remember, I'm always talking about reincarnations of them when I say their names. Deidara drops a 3-0 his 3-0 technique. Deku jumps back by like a lot, and they're wondering why he just dropped Clay. Why did he jump back by that much? And so it starts to explode, and they don't die. I just want them to suffer. They get exploded, like they get sent back all the way up to where they were. And so after that happens, basically all got wrecked, and then All Might showed up. All Might, well, Sasori, everybody except Pain decides to step back through the portal. And then the portal closes, and they're just gonna wait for Pain. All Might, not smiling this time, homie. But so, he decides to, All Might decides to attack Pain to like basically rat everyone out, even though Pain wouldn't do that in a heartbeat. Like they're all his friends. So he starts fighting Pain, like the 6 paths of pain. And so he tries to punch the I think it's like the diva path, the one that could like do almighty push and almighty pull. Except the one that could absorb attacks, like ninjutsu, basically absorbs the strength behind the attack. And then the one that could summon animals, the animal path, summons two gigantic rhinos, or like the dog with the heads, and a gigantic bird. And then so the bird is heading straight for the students, except it's easier for him to fight the animals than it is for him to fight the paths of the pain. And so, after he defeats the summonings, he tries to hit one of them that's like not facing away from him. Well, like it's not really looking at him. It's kind of looking at the students with like a. It's gonna be the diva path. He's trying to hit that one so he could pull and push, except he thinks he's gonna hit it. Except right at the last moment, it ducks. Kind of like how it did with I think it was in the Naruto versus Pain fight. Yeah, and so that happens. He questions it, and then he sees what could all the paths of pain do again? He's gonna get almighty pushed. Yeah, he's gonna get almighty pushed, and then so yeah, almighty push happens, and then he gets sent flying back, and then Pain's about to do a planetary devastation, except Korogiri comes back, and he's like, "Young Pain, I think we've proved our point that we're better than them." And then so Pain's like, "You're right. We'll come back later, though." Izuku and Katsumi are very, very angry because they just said that they're better than them, and also they beat up All Might. Like, Izumi and Katsumi are very angry. So they try to go through the portal, but Pain just almighty pushes them away and leaves like a mini, and I mean mini, planetary devastation. So it's like 1/4 of the size, but it still crushes half of the USJ. So basically all the students are sent to the hospital, and I'll be leaving it off